Hi and welcome to the favorite video of the month, my completed coloring pages from February 2026. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Ina. If not, welcome back. In February I colored 13 pages across 11 different books. 5 of these books are previously untouched, which is great because it means I've significantly reduced my pile of uncolored books. So I quickly set the books aside and then we get started. First, I colored a page in Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosanes. The first proper page, the Rapunzel Tower. I colored this page for the Color the Fairy Tales hashtag by Jordi Colors, as Rapunzel was the selected fairy tale for January. Yes, I was a bit late, but I managed to finish this page on the 1st of February. I primed many elements of the page with my Castle Arts watercolor pencils, and then colored them with the soft touch pencils from Castle Arts. Generally, I can already say that I used the soft touch pencils from Castle Arts for all pages this month, along with some additional materials. In this case, I used soft pastels for the background and I used some gel pens for the white lines of the birds, the scissors, and a little bit of glitter on her dress. This page was my very first Kirby page, and it was incredibly fun to work on it. I was super excited about the Kirby pages at the start of the month, and coloring them was truly enjoyable. I also made a video of this page if you would like to see how I colored it. That was Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosanes. Next up is In der Natur or Botanicum by Maria Trolle. In this book, I colored a page that I had wanted to color for a long time, these wax wings. As I mentioned, I used the Castle Art Soft Touch here as well, along with a few pencils from the Harmonious set, and a white gel pen for the details. And I also used a golden gel pen for the details in the flowers. I really love how vibrant the colors turned out and how realistic the birds look. There's also a speed coloring video for this page on my channel. This was Botanicum by Maria Trolle. Now moving on to my project book Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, or Ivy und der magische Schmetterling by Joanna Basford. I'm coloring this book from front to back, and the next page was this one here. I'm really glad that I managed to turn these 2 pages into a double page spread. Here again I used the Castle Art Soft Touch pencils, along with the Castle Art Harmonious pencils. For the background I used soft pastels, and then I added a little bit of gel pen onto the flowers. And the dots in the background are made with my Posca marker. That was Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Joanna Basford. Next is my body color with Selena Moonlight in Die Magie der Natur or Nature's Magic by Stratton Peterson. In this book, we colored this page with a blackbird. The page is called Potion to Ease Heartbreak. And again, I mostly used the Castle Art soft touch pencils and a few from the Harmonious set for the bird. For the background, I used soft pastels again, and then a white gel pen, a glitter gel pen, and my Posca marker for the dots. I show you Selena's version here. I really love how she created a cool winter scene with her colors, while my version leans more towards a Valentine's Day vibe. Her blackbird also turned out really well. That was Nature's Magic by Stratton Peterson. Then, as long it was still Year of the Snake, I really wanted to color another snake. And I did this in Seasons by Hannah Carlson. This snake here. For the background, I used watercolors. And if you would like to see how I achieved this texture, feel free to watch the video I made for this page. I've linked it here in the corner. For coloring the snake, I used my soft touch pencils again, along with some gel pens and my white Posca marker. I really like how the background turned out, and I will definitely be using this technique again on another page. After I complete a page in Seasons in January and in February, I've decided that this will be now my second project book. Initially, I planned to color a page in this book every second month, but now I'm aiming to do one every month. Okay, that was Seasons by Hannah Carlson. Moving on to Boule de Poire by Diane Dufort. This book could also be considered a project book, because I've decided to participate in the hashtag for this book, where a page is selected each month for everyone to color. And the February page was this cute cat cafe. I used the Castle Art soft touch pencils combined with a Harmonious set, and added some gel pens for details. I really love these adorable illustrations, and it's great that you can finish these pages relatively quick. That was Boule de Poire by Diane Dufort. The next book is Mythic World by Kirby Rosanes. And it's a body color with the lovely Melly, who kindly gifted me this book. We colored the Baba Yaga. On this page, I again used a mix of soft touch and Harmonious pencils, along with gel pens and acrylic markers. and I really like how this page turned out. Now you get an exclusive look at Melly's picture, because she doesn't post her finished pages. I think it's amazing how different our pages turned out, and I love her choice of colors. The purple paired with the light beige dress looks fantastic. Melly did an excellent job. I also appreciate that Kirby's books often include little informations at the back about the illustrations. That helps to create a deeper connection with the artwork when you know a bit more about its background. Okay, that was Mythic World by Kirby Rosanes. Next, I colored a page in Abenteuer der Blütenelfen, translated to Adventures of the Blossom Fairies by Christel Vogel. And actually, it was 2 pages. I colored the pages under the title The Snow is Melting. There's also a very detailed video for this page, if you like to see how I colored it. Since there's a lot of white on the pages, my plan was to make the white look warmer on one side and cooler on the other. Here, because of the sunlight, the white of the snowdrops and the matching outfit turned out a bit warmer, while the snow still maintains a cooler white. On the opposite page, I only used cooler tones. Of course, aside from the border, this is always the same in all the left-handed pages. That's why I decided on a consistent coloring style for it, except for this little butterfly here, which adds a unique touch to the border. I based both pages with watercolors made from felted pens. Then, for this page, I used water-soluble wax crayons from Herlitz and Jackson for the background, and colored everything with a mix of soft touch and harmonious pencils. Additionally, I used some gel pens and my white Posca marker to cover the lines. And for the wings, I used a bit of metallic watercolor to give them this nice shimmer. That was Abenteuer der Blütenelfen by Christel Vogel. Moving on to the next book by Kirby Rosanes, Fragile World. In this book, I colored the first illustration together with our Kirby Buddy Color group. For February, we choose the Philippine Nake Bake Fruit Bed. Here again, I used a mix of soft touch and harmonious colored pencils. And I know, it's getting a bit repetitive, but these are my go-to colored pencils. But I based the leaves with watercolor pencils first. And for the background, I used soft pastels and then my white Posca marker for the highlights. Before we started the page, I thought all the pages would look quite similar, but surprisingly, they turned out very different. Let me show you the 3 other versions. ColourPod and Julia created a wonderful night sky. Selena Moonlight depicted the leaves as slightly withered, which looks really cool. And Ishemi Color colored the page beautifully with vibrant lively leaves. It's fascinating how even our berries all look different. That was Fragile World by Kirby Rosanes. All three Kirby books were previously untouched, and I continue with another untouched book, Story of Precious Cats by Nell Kuniko. In this book, I colored the Steampunk Cat, and I colored it for the Color the Fairy Tales hashtag by Jordi Colors for last month. February's fairy tale was Puss in Boots. Just like with the January page, the Rapunzel Tower, I tried to stick to Johanna Stone's color palette. She created color palettes for the hashtag for every fairy tale. I used the color palette and I also incorporated some of the contrast colors, which are included. As with all the other pages, I used a mix of soft touch and harmonious pencils, along with gel pens and soft pastels for the background. I noticed with this paper that it would probably be helpful to base a page with watercolor pencils, since it was a bit tricky to cover the white of the paper with some colors. That was Story of Precious Cats by Nell Kuniko. Moving on to the last book, another untouched one, and another book by Kirby Rosanes. In Worlds Within Worlds, I colored a double page with soap bubbles, this one here. I had already started this page in January when I made a video showing how I draw and color soap bubbles. Now I finished it and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And of course, I used the Castle Art soft touch pencils again. But this time I also used the pastel colored pencils from Faber-Castell for all the soap bubbles. For the background, I went back to using soft pastels. And I also used a lot of white Posca to cover the lines, which worked better on some bubbles and less on others. When I try to apply a second layer, it tends to scrape off the first one, so I can't achieve a better coverage. One thing I've noticed with all Kirby Rosanes books is that sometimes it feels like the lines smudge, especially in areas where I've used lighter colors. The colors tend to get a bit dirty when I color over the shading or the lines in general. Has this happened to you as well? Maybe I should base the pages with watercolors or watercolor pencils, or I should use a workable fixative first. Okay, that was Worlds Within Worlds by Kirby Rosanes, and my last page for February. Now, which one is my favorite page? I honestly can't decide. I really like the Baba Yaga. Then the snake background, and I also love the blackbird. What's your favorite page? Feel free to write it in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye!